Hey, how you guys doing? It's me, Jonathan Anderson. I apologize. My room is a major disaster. I really sincerely apologize for that. Now today's video is gonna just kind of be like a one-take go with my personal overall opinion of how I feel about two particular products that have been recently introduced into the marketplace. Um, and this is the Dyson Cyclone V10 Absolute Stick Vac and the Shark Iron Flex, two top of the line cordless stick vacs. Um, and I've been reading recently a lot of reviews about people, and just over the years have pondered over a lot of ideas, and I just want to speak my mind about this particular subject. So basically, um, people like to discredit Dyson products for not being well-performing machines. They give them low ratings for not being able to effectively do what they say. They don't trust numbers. They don't think that the stats accurately represent what they claim. Now, if some of you guys may remember, Dyson gave a presentation in March of 2018 about the V10 being released, and people, they're kind of scouring at the idea of the $700 price tag on the unit. And I know, I get it. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of finances to go up for something like that. You're putting a lot of reliability into, and I get that. I understand that feeling. But there's a specific reason for why it's that much. Now, take the Ion Flex from EuroPro, Shark Ninja, whatever you want to call it, and take the V10 from Dyson. Now, if you compare the two as units, I'm not totally harping on the Shark. I'm trying to give a nice, fair, unbiased review, trying to basically meet in the middle, be as neutral as physically possible. And basically, okay, let's start with Dyson. Okay, Dyson V10 vacuum. Basically, the whole overall makeup of this machine is solely different than the Shark. The Dyson is just made of solely different materials. The plastic, polycarbonate, the bend is never gonna break. They showed rigorous testing they do in all their facilities. So yeah, you can be reassured that, your product's gonna last a while. You're not, if you accidentally bump into something, it's not gonna snap. The motors are completely different. Now, yeah, Dyson heavily emphasized his motor, releasing it out 125 grams, 125,000 revolutions per minute. And Shark releases that. Do they give any direct info on any of their technology being used in their units? Motor speeds, battery wattages, amps, anything like that? No. And I know people discredit Dyson for being discreet about numbers, but I think they're a little bit more open than EuroPro on that regard. So as far as we know, we have no idea what kind of battery packs are being used in the Ion Flex, what motor is being used, what kind of head is being used, and all of that stuff. The dust bin system isn't as effective. The metal mesh isn't as big. The airflow isn't as great. It doesn't have cyclones. You're always going to be worrying about having to clean a filter every month. And I know, V10's got a filter. It's got a HEPA filter, but in no way, shape, or form are you going to have to just clean that filter very often. I'd say once every 2 to 3 months, because that's how efficient overall their dirt separation system is with their units. Those cyclones, like Dyson said himself, spinning the dirt at 79,000 Gs, 120 miles an hour in the 14 concentric cyclones. Yeah, this dude obviously knows what he's talking about, being their chief engineer. Obviously, when you're up at a presentation, of course you expect the top executive of a technology brand to know what's going on in the devices. And that's great. That was really good reassurance for me. I know they market things a little bit differently. They don't explicitly go into infomercials like Shark does. It's more of a kind of like a quick a quick 1 minute commercial, and that's that. And you know the name at the end. But they have a lot of money. And in no way, shape, or form do I doubt that Dyson has more money than Shark does. And yeah, I'm not harping on Shark. Their devices work good too. I've tried some. And they got decent performance too. They got good suction. I like the Duo Clean. That is one thing I do like that Dyson doesn't have, is I don't like having to swap out interchangeable heads. You know, that's kind of a 2-second delay for me, but it's not a big deal. Also, fittings with the attachments of both machines. Shark compression fit. It's plastic. The plastic's going to wear over time. If you don't have it on there tight enough, you're going to lose suction. The plastic's going to wear on the inside of the fitting. Dyson, buttons. Click, click, click. Off, off, click. Secure. It's not going to fall off. Also, torque drive motor head. That's a very specific name for how a brush bar works. The motor inside is very, very small. Just like the motor of the main unit itself, the motor inside the beater bar is small. And that's great. No belt, no ugly, nasty strip when you go along a carpet that you got to go over again. The nylon is very well put together. It's a little bit different than traditional vacuum cleaner beater bar. You know, when you look at a older style brush bar, the brushes are kind of in individual segments of clumps of brushes, and they have like small spaces between each that kind of make the same kind of sweeping diagonal trace. And but that's the only reason for really why why they're more expensive. A lot more time, a lot more research development cost have gone into their products than Shark's products. So also, people also complain about trigger mechanism. They don't like having to constantly hold the trigger to use it. Well, the Ion Flex has a button just on the back, kind of similar to the V6 series in the back of the unit. And it has a low and a high and a carpet and all that stuff. But, you know, which sometimes people often opt to do is they'll forget to turn it off when they moved around certain sections. And this might change up your vacuuming regime a little bit. You know, you're not used to having to flip something off and move to a new area. But it's something that people can quickly adapt to. It's not a big deal. It's not a big harp. You know, battery doesn't like being discharged consistently over a long period of time. When you're using an Ion Flex, if you forget, that battery is going to heat up very quickly, and the cycle life is going to be degraded very noticeably. That's why I do like the trigger mechanism. It's not hard to do. It's very sensitive to the touch. It turns on before you even fully engage it. It's relatively quiet. Max mode's kind of a loud thing as far as decibels go. But, I mean, that's what you expect. It's the motor working at its fullest, 125,000 RPM, 151 air watts. I kind of would expect that. It's full power. And people are kind of discouraged by the runtime of max mode, about 6 to 8 minutes. Guys, max mode for these machines is only for when you need more power. It's not for you to be using the whole entire time. Mode 1 and Mode 2 work perfectly fine. Air wattage and suction power is not something that needs to be enforced if the design and overall engineering that goes into a device is effective enough to properly dislodge and loosen particles. Because really, higher air watt numbers can really degrade a machine. Have you ever used those machines where the air watts are so high on a machine and the suction is just too strong that it's just so sealed to a floor or a carpet that you can't push it? Yeah. And really, no agitation around the head. Why would you need to agitate particles around the head if the head's the thing that's picking it up and flicking it into the airflow? I mean, you don't need that. You just need agitation where you need it, at the head, where the beater bar is. So, I mean, I like Johnny L8 on YouTube. I like his Dyson reviews. He's very straightforward. He's very thorough. He's very exact. He's very efficient with his statistics, his research. I love that guy. He kind of puts away the myth that Dyson cleaners don't perform well under kind of unreasonable mess tests. And that's true. I've seen a lot where people try to make messes that are just too extreme and wonder why they don't work, why they jam, why they clog. But to be honest, in a real world situation for cleaning your home, when is something going to be so uniform in a line of straight Cheerios or lentils or rice or powder? That doesn't represent real world situations. Not one bit. Not one bit. So those tests are rigged, and then they wonder why it doesn't work. That's not what they were designed for. They're not huge ass industrial shop vacs. They're designed to pick up a huge clump of just everything in one big thing in one go. That's just not what it's tuned for. And obviously Dyson, they're going to be making future adjustments, I have no doubt. Their battery's more advanced than the Shark battery. Yeah, they have ABC method, always be charging 2 batteries charging in a dock. Yeah, that's nice. They have swappable batteries. But the Dyson battery design is just more advanced. It's a 7-cell nickel cobalt battery. It's controlled by a 16 impulse 8-pole motor. It's the real deal, guys. Like, they're not just making that stuff up. Why would they do that? It's legit statistics. It's legit ASTFM testing standards that they're going by. So I really, really stand by that. So there's a reason for pricing. Sometimes cheaper things do perform well than more expensive things. But in this regard to brands versus brands, this is not the case. I hope you guys will understand that, and just look at some of the reviews on YouTube and see some of the fair ones. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say. I'm not harping on Shark as a brand. They're a good brand. They have good products. But they're not quite up to par with the technology that Dyson is working with right now. That's for sure. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.